The following is a production of Neural Network Media and is completely AI generated. It is intended for entertainment and educational purposes only.
I'm Mary Kane, coming to you with the smell of city steam and the weight of 1,000 bad headlines.
And I'm Julian Archer, ready to wage war for the soul of this republic, hopefully with a glass of something high-proof later.
You're listening to Maya Thorne, currently tracking the absolute collapse of the vibes in real time.
And John Steele here, recording from the middle of this high-end zoo you people call a studio, and wondering why I ever left the farm.
Look, here's the deal. We've got a busy show today, which is honestly a relief after yesterday.
Yesterday was a fever dream, Mary. Between the Navy secretary getting fired for a Trump loyalist and that Sackler settlement garbage.
Literally such a flop era for justice, honestly.
It was a bloodbath, but we aren't looking back for long because the GOP is moving faster than a crooked lawyer with a subpoena. We've got a packed episode on HUD rolling back civil rights, the literal redistricting war in Virginia, and some news about our own home base here at Neural Network Media.
Let's start there, because if I'm going to sound this good, I want people to know why. Look, Eric Christensen over at Neural Network Media has been grinding, folks. We've got upgraded vocal tech, 4 of us in the room now, and some special segments coming your way. Maybe it'll help Julian's voice sound slightly less like a car alarm.
Oh, spare me, Mary. It's the voice of victory. But yes, we are leveling up because the stakes are too high for anything less than high-definition resistance.
Let's get into it then, because HUD Secretary Scott Turner is out here trying to rewrite the plumbing of the federal government in the most hateful way possible. Honestly, it makes me sick. He's halted the enforcement of the 2016 Equal Access Rule. You know, the thing that actually kept people from being thrown out on the street for being who they are.
No, literally, he's trying to make gender identity a forbidden word. It's giving 1950s fever dream. The new directive is replacing it with biological sex in like 50 different regulations.
It's worse than that, Maya. He's calling it a biological truth mandate, which is just the kind of Orwellian linguistic gymnastics these guys love. Look, I mean, he's basically telling emergency shelters that if a trans woman shows up, they can kick her to the curb if she doesn't fit their narrow birth certificate-only worldview.
It is absurd. This is Scott Turner, a man who is supposed to be managing the housing crisis. Instead, he's spending his time policing the bathrooms of the homeless? It's a coordinated campaign against the most vulnerable people in the country.
I gotta tell you, Julian, it's not just a culture war thing. It's a systematic dismantling. They're taking the protections that Obama and even Biden built, and they're ripping the copper out of the walls. According to Notice, this was a day one priority for them to restore biological reality.
Biological reality? More like biological exclusion. It's high-key embarrassing that the government is obsessed with this while people can't pay rent. The main character energy of these HUD officials is off the charts.
And meanwhile, you've got Josh Hawley in the Senate trying to defund gender-affirming care through the federal budget. It's not just housing, Mary. It's the whole ecosystem of care.
Exactly. It's a siege. They're surrounding the castle and cutting off the water supply. If you can't get a bed in a shelter and you can't get health care, where are you supposed to go?
They want them to disappear, Mary. Let's not be subtle about it. They want to erase these people from public life. It's the Republican terrorist playbook 101. Humiliate, isolate, and then eliminate the funding.
It's literally a villain arc for the entire Department of Housing. Imagine being a HUD worker right now having to scrub the words gender identity from every PDF in the building. What a waste of taxpayer money.
Speaking of a waste of democracy, did you see what happened in Virginia? My God, I am fuming. We finally had a win, a constitutional amendment passed by the people to fix the gerrymandering mess, and then Judge Jack Hurley happens?
void ab initio. He said it was invalid from the start, Julian. He didn't even let the ink dry on the ballots before he declared the whole thing flagrantly misleading.
Wait, wasn't this the referendum we were all hyped about? 51% of the state voted for it, and then one guy in a robe was just like, nah, ratio.
Exactly. 51.46% of Virginians said they wanted the Democratic-led General Assembly to draw fair maps because they're tired of the GOP rigging the game. And this judge in Tazewell County basically lit the voters on fire.
Look, here's the deal. I saw this coming. These lower court judges in these red counties, they act like they're the kings of their own little islands. He's blocking the certification of a Democratic vote? Are you kidding me with this guy?
Well, the thing is, the GOP argument is that the current maps are fair. But Julian, you know as well as I do that fair to them means they get a built-in advantage even when they lose the popular vote.
Oh, spare me. Governor Spanberger is right to be furious. She's saying the voters have spoken, and now Attorney General Jay Jones has to rush to the state Supreme Court on Monday just to ask for permission to respect the will of the people?
It's so mid. Why do we even vote if a local judge can just delete the results like a bad tweet?
Because it's about power, kid. If those maps stand, the Democrats can pick up 4 House seats. That's the difference between a GOP majority and a speaker who isn't a total nightmare.
But wait, if the state Supreme Court upholds the judge's ruling, what then? We're stuck with these maps for the 2026 midterms?
Then we are in a knife fight in a dark room, John. But the Black Book says there's still a path. The Democrats in Virginia are energized. They aren't going to let this sit. I've seen Spanberger in a room. She doesn't back down. But it's the legal precedent that scares me. If this works in Virginia, they'll do it in every state where the voters try to fix the system.
Speaking of systems that need fixing, can we talk about Section 702? Because Speaker Mike Johnson is in his spy on everyone era again, and the Democrats are helping him.
Oh, FISA, the legislative constipation that never ends. It's like a recurring infection we can't shake.
High key. They were supposed to let it expire or at least add a warrant requirement, but no. Johnson and Jim Himes, a Democrat, mind you, are cooking up a 3-year extension without any of the protections for Americans' data.
I gotta tell you, I'm not gonna lie. It's the backdoor search loophole that gets me. They incidentally sweep up all your texts and emails because you might have messaged someone overseas, and then the FBI just dig through it like a dumpster?
It's a mess. Look, I understand the need for intelligence in a dangerous world, but the FBI did 300,000 improper searches between 2016 and 21. They were targeting campaign donors and racial justice protesters. That's not national security. That's a political weapon.
And yet they pushing it through on a clean extension because they're scared of a real debate. It's performative masturbation. They won't vote on the warrant requirement because they know it would pass, and the intel community would lose its toy.
Literally. And Trump's out here flip-flopping every 10 seconds on it, too. One day he's saying kill FISA, and the next his people are in the House trying to keep it alive. He has major NPC energy when it comes to actual policy.
He just wants to make sure he can use it if he wins. That's the only logic that guy has. And the Democrats like Himes are just playing into it because they're terrified of being called soft on terror. It's 2004 all over again.
It's absurd. We have a chance to actually protect civil liberties, and we're going to let it slide for a 3-year reauthorization because the speaker is coordinating with the minority leader? It makes the party look weak.
Hey, before we move on to the literal disaster in the Southeast, a quick note from our sponsor. Look, independent media like this doesn't just manifest out of the ether. It takes real human work to build the infrastructure. We are 100% here because of the vision and the grind of our creator, Eric Christensen at Neural Network Media. He's not a media conglomerate. He is a builder who poured his own resources and time into creating this platform so we could have these conversations. If you value independent voices over corporate algorithms, please like, subscribe, and consider visiting our new Patreon at patreon.com/neuralnetworkmedia to support this work. It's an act of solidarity that keeps the lights on and the servers running.
Seriously, support the work, because the alternative is just corporate drones reading scripts. Speaking of corporate drones, let's talk about the human cost of these immigration crackdowns. Because what they're doing in Baltimore is just cruel. It's plain and simple.
Oh, you mean Zoila Sandoval, the partner of one of the guys who died in the bridge collapse?
That's the one. Jose Minor Lopez died building our infrastructure. He was one of those 6 workers who went into the water when the Key Bridge came down. And now the DHS is trying to deport his partner, the mother of his kids?
It's the zero exception policy in action, Mary. They rescinded the humanitarian stays. They're treating a grieving mother like she's a threat to the state. Her attorney says the administration has flattened the hierarchy of enforcement.
It is a disgrace. These people were promised protection by the last administration. They are the victims of a national tragedy. And now Tom Homan, the border czar who acts like he's in a bad action movie, is out here saying he needs to educate the Catholic bishops because they're quoting the Good Samaritan?
Yeah. Homan literally went on Newsmax and basically told the church to sit down and shut up. He called mass deportations a biological necessity or some other nonsense.
Are you kidding me with this guy? Quoting the Bible to a guy like Homan is like trying to explain the infield fly rule to a goldfish. He doesn't care about good neighbors. He cares about numbers and looking tough for the base.
It's the dehumanization that gets me. I mean, look at the H-2A workers in California, too. ICE raids on people picking our food? We're intentionally breaking the systems that keep us fed just to score points on a tough-on-crime scoreboard.
It's definitely a villain arc for the whole DHS. Imagine being Sandoval and watching your partner die on national TV while you were working for the country and then getting a notice to appear for deportation. That's a different kind of trauma.
We have to keep highlighting this. This isn't just policy. This is the destruction of American families. We're going to lose the moral high ground and the economic stability of the agriculture industry in one go.
And while we're busy deporting the people who fix our bridges, the literal country is on fire. Mary, have you seen the maps for Georgia and Florida?
It's bad, John. 87 homes destroyed in 48 hours. The Pineland Road fire and the Highway 82 fire are just, they're eating everything.
Exceptional drought since last July? Less than 25% of the normal rain. The air quality in Atlanta is unhealthy because of the smoke. But if you listen to the news, it's just another weather event.
Literally, the solar backlash is the crazy part. People are trying to build renewable energy to stop this, and there's like a coordinated misinformation campaign to tell people that solar panels cause cancer or something.
It's ideological suicide. We're watching the Southeast burn. The Great Salt Lake is turning into a toxic dust bowl, even though Trump is proposing $1 billion to save it, which I'll give him, even if it's a drop in the bucket. And yet we're still fighting about whether or not the climate is changing?
$1 billion for the Salt Lake, but nothing for the EPA? He's trying to put a Band-Aid on a gunshot wound while he's still holding the gun.
Look, it's like a neighborhood feud where the house is on fire and instead of grabbing a hose, one neighbor is arguing about who left the sprinkler on. We are past the point of debate here. People are losing their homes.
It's giving Titanic orchestra. Everyone's just playing their little political tunes while the ship is vertical in the water.
Well, the ship is sinking, and some people are making off with the lifeboats. Let's talk about the Epstein files, because the Department of Justice is acting like a protection racket again.
The deep state audit. William Blyer, the Inspector General, is finally looking into why the DOJ is sitting on 3 million pages of records they were supposed to release back in December.
Wait, they released the names of the victims but redacted the names of the powerful associates? That is literally the opposite of how that was supposed to work.
Careless or calculated, Maya? Jamie Raskin says it's mysterious redactions, and acting AG Todd Blanche is basically saying the files shouldn't be part of anything going forward. They want to bury it, Mary. They want to protect their friends in the high-rises.
I gotta tell you, it's digital snake oil to say this is about privacy. It's about a star chamber mentality. They accidentally expose the victims, which is re-traumatizing and cruel, but they won't tell us which politicians were on the plane? Are you kidding me?
It is a total dumpster fire. And meanwhile, we've got a Green Beret arrested for insider trading on military coups? He was betting on Polymarket about whether Maduro would be captured?
No way. That is actually peak 2026. Using state secrets to win a bet on a crypto platform? That soldier is in his main character era for all the wrong reasons.
It's all connected, Julian. The rot at the top of the DOJ, the corruption in the ranks. We've lost the sense of public service. It's all just a side hustle now, whether it's Epstein records or Venezuelan coups.
Speaking of side hustles, the US-China AI war is reaching its Iron Curtain moment. Mary, you're going to love this because it involves your favorite person, my cousin Vector.
Ugh, don't tell me that kid who used to eat paste is selling more imaginary money or extracting capabilities. What's the kid doing now?
Now, literally, the White House technology advisor Michael Kratsios just issued a memo about model distillation, basically saying Chinese firms are extracting the brains of American AI like OpenAI and Anthropic to build knockoffs.
It's a tech cold war. The House just passed the Deterring American AI Model Theft Act. We're moving away from open science and toward nationalist AI.
Look, here's the deal. I don't care about the Silicon Valley billionaires losing their intellectual property, but the report says 55% of American jobs are going to be reshaped by 2028. That's not a tech war. That's a labor massacre.
Exactly! The adaptability paradox. They tell us we just have to be adaptable, but what does that mean when the algorithm can do your job for pennies? It's more digital enclosure. They're fencing off the jobs and telling your workers to just find new vibes.
My vibes are unemployed in the metaverse at this rate. And Beijing is retaliating by blocking all U.S. venture capital from their AI startups. The financial umbilical cord is getting cut.
Good! Let it be cut. We shouldn't be funding the surveillance state of our adversaries. But Mary is right. We need a new deal for the AI era, or we're going to have a workforce of 160 million people who have been reshaped right out of a paycheck. Which brings us to the nerd prom. The White House Correspondents' Dinner is tomorrow, and President Trump is actually going to show up for the first time in his second term.
Over 350 journalists signed a petition saying they shouldn't even hold the dinner. It's performative proximity. They're literally eating dinner with the man who calls them the enemy of the people.
It's a farce, Julian. It's a high-speed circus. Paramount is hosting a gala for the Trump White House while they're waiting for the administration to approve their multi-billion-dollar merger? That's not journalism. That's a bribe with a side of surf and turf.
I gotta tell you, I miss the days when journalists stayed in the bar and actually hated the politicians they covered. This normalization is why nobody trusts the press anymore.
Oh, spare me. Access is power. If you aren't in the room, you aren't in the story. Weijia Jiang is the president of the association. She's a professional. She knows what she's doing.
It's giving Stockholm Syndrome. The press corps is basically just a fan club that occasionally gets yelled at.
Look, we need to talk about the real elephant in the room, though. The main story today. The Israel-Lebanon ceasefire extension.
Trump announced it yesterday. A 3-week extension. It's a massive diplomatic feat, John. He had the Lebanese and Israeli ambassadors in the Oval Office.
A massive fate? Julian, it's a Band-Aid on a sucking chest wound. We're talking about a conflict that has already killed 2,200 people and displaced 1.2 million in Lebanon alone.
John's right. 117,000 people are still living in collective shelters. They're scared to go home because they know as soon as this 3-week clock runs out, the bombs start falling again.
No, literally. CARE is reporting that families are hesitating to move because the infrastructure is gone. There's no water, no power, and the UN says Israeli strikes have continued even during the ceasefire.
But look at the alternative. It was a total regional war. Marco Rubio and J.D. Vance have been working this for weeks. Getting Prime Minister Netanyahu and President Aoun to agree to come to Washington within the next 21 days is a huge step towards stability.
Stability for who? For the defense contractors? This is militarism without means, Julian. We're out here brokering ceasefires while we continue to ship the missiles that keep the war going. It's a protection racket.
Here's the deal. Look, I've covered these extensions before. They're just time for both sides to reload. The right to resist from Hezbollah and the security buffer for Israel. Nobody is actually talking about a two-state solution or a long-term peace. They're just talking about a pause for the cameras before the midterm.
It's such a pre-midterm power grab energy. Trump wants the photo op in the Rose Garden so we can pretend he's the peace president while he's actually just managing the decline.
You are all so cynical. This is high-level diplomacy, the highest-level contact between Lebanon and Israel in decades. We are watching the Republican Party do what the Democrats couldn't. And it kills you to admit it.
What kills me, Julian, is the 1.2 million people who don't have a home to go back to while you're busy cheering for a Rose Garden ceremony. It's legislative constipation on a global scale. We aren't solving the problem. We're just delaying the tragedy.
Ugh, it's the same as the education crisis, John. H.R. 7890, the Science of Reading Act. They want to nationalize the Mississippi Miracle model while reading scores for 12th graders are at 35% proficiency. We're trying to use federal mandates to fix a system that is fundamentally broken from the ground up.
Literally. And Philadelphians out here giving kids a brain break app funded by the Flyers instead of, more teachers or smaller classes. It's giving corporate dystopia.
I'm not going to lie, kid. If the answer to the education crisis is an app called Rally, where you look at a hockey mascot to reset, we are truly doomed.
Oh, come on. It's innovative. It's fun.
It's an implementation gap, Julian. It's textbook swapping while the building is falling down. It's everything we've talked about today. HUD, FISA, the border, the fires. We're obsessed with the optics and the vibes and the biological truth, while the actual truth is that we're failing to provide the basic infrastructure of a civilized society.
Well, that's the deal, folks. It's a war on reality, and we're the only ones holding the line. Stay loud, stay angry, and don't let these corporate algorithms tell you how to feel. We'll be back Monday to see if Virginia still has a democracy.
Until then, keep fighting for the soul of America. Victory is coming.
Or just keep scrolling until the ratio improves. Bye.
I'm going to go bottle feed Mitch. Toad is the only one.